How much more can Xbox fans take? PlayStation is striking when Xbox is at its weakest. What's up, y'all, and welcome to Xbox Ready, my YouTube channel that's all about Xbox. And I had to convene yet another emergency video. I've been doing that like multiple times over the past couple weeks. I had to bring in my buddy, Mr. Jimmy Champagne, because there's a lot of crazy stuff, and I just need to like vent my feelings about it at this point.
How's it going, everyone? I'm back.
Every time I'm like, it's a crazy time to be an Xbox fan. It's a crazy time to be an Xbox fan. It's a crazy time to be an Xbox fan. And then something else happens to where it just makes what I was previously worried about look like nothing in comparison. I'm, of course, referring to Xbox. Well, it's not official yet, but potentially raising the prices of their hardware for the third time this year. They did it once in May. They did it once in October. And we're living in a day and age where now a base Series S is going for $400. Truly insane times. It could potentially get worse because Jim's buddy Tom over at Moore's Law is Dead he's been hearing from his sources at like memory makers and retailers that they've been being contacted by Microsoft and saying, ooh, guys, yeah, due to all these companies buying up VRAM to power their AI tools and tech, there's not going to be enough RAM left to make video game consoles. So we may have to either raise the price or stop making consoles entirely. And here's where PlayStation, sneaky ass PlayStation, comes in. They, right on the heels of this news, they're like, it would be really funny. All these rumors going around about Microsoft raising the price of Xbox consoles again. How about we lower the price of our consoles for Black Friday?
I know, it's crazy. They did that last time too. They lowered the price right after, but then they raised the price after they lowered the price. So it wasn't that good. I mean, silver lining, dude. I don't think Sony's going to be able to escape this for long, right? Like, they smartly thought to stockpile RAM, for the PS5. So for a little bit, they're going to be able to keep it where it's at. But when they run out, they're going to run into the same issue as Xbox. So who knows how long that's going to take. And then they're going to have to raise prices. The worst part is, I just talked about this for another one of your videos. This is not going to get better, right? It's not like suddenly OpenAI is going to be like, oh, we're done needing RAM and memory. They might even start needing GPUs tomorrow. And then suddenly the 7600X, which is like the base GPU of the PS5 and Series X, that's going to shoot up in price, and that gets added on to the memory price. So it's not going to get better. It's just going to keep getting worse.
Yeah, and it's like, this is a classic Sony thing to do, because I remember like back in the Xbox One generation, they were like, yeah, Xbox Ones, we're going to bundle and connect. It's going to be $500. And then Sony was like, we would never do some stupid shit like that. We're going to price our console at $400. They're going to clean up during Black Friday. But after that, like Jimmy says, we don't really know. Right now, the story is, oh my gosh, Microsoft Xbox are messing up again. That's a pretty easy train to ride. But this is going to be affecting everything. PlayStations, our precious Gabe Cube coming from Steam. Again, it's not official yet, but it's definitely concerning, especially if you're excited for these next-gen consoles and for the future of just video game hardware in general.
The only thing that could fix this is if they can't keep up with output of RAM, right? Like if they can keep up with over at Samsung or wherever, making enough memory for all the companies that want it and consumers, they're going to keep doing that. They're not going to open up a new factory because they can keep the prices jacked up and rake it in. But if they fall behind and can't keep up with demand, that leaves an opening for another memory manufacturer to come in and take their spot. So they'll open up a new factory and increase output. That's kind of what you can hope for, that they fall behind and can't keep up and need to open up a new factory, because then the prices will drop to where they were, or maybe even below where they were, because they'll get to a point where they're maybe overproducing RAM. But unless they make new factories, we're kind of screwed for the time being.
Expensive video game stuff seems to be a recurring theme across the entire industry. I mean, I remember seeing Linus Tech Tips tweet like a couple weeks ago about him saying, oh yeah, I'd really like for this new Steam machine to be like console pricing. And they were like, what do you think console pricing is? He goes like, I don't know, $500. And the room went dead silent. So this whole thing about like...
I think he misread that situation pretty bad, honestly, because they said on our friend Jake Baldino's podcast that if you add up the components in the PC, you'll get to the price that they're looking for, and they want to be competitive in that zone. Our buddy Tom, who we just referenced, added it up, and their cost is going to be like $425. So if they want to make it for that and sell it at a profit, they could hit $500 with stockpiled RAM. But he said if they didn't stockpile RAM, they should just cancel the Steam machine altogether because that's going to shoot it up. And I agree. Like if they did, I hope they stockpiled RAM. There are signs that they stockpiled it because they've been working on this
because they
thing
were
for
getting
years.
ready
Like,
to launch this thing, and
Yeah.
they didn't want to run into stock issues. Absolutely.
and they do a lot of the manufacturing at their place in Washington or whatever. Like a lot of it is assembled in Washington. So I think they'll be good for launch. I think they have enough stockpiled.
And the bad news is that where do we think Microsoft falls in all of this? Did they stockpile? Did they plan ahead? According to our buddy Tom, no. Fat ass no, they did not prepare for this. But it might not even matter because again, the best that these companies can hope for now is like short-term relief, right? Like they'll continue, like PlayStation will continue making PS5s, PS5 Slims, whatever. We'll have a steady supply of Steam machines at launch in 2026. But beyond that, we don't really know. The next Xboxes, Project Magnus, PlayStation 6s, anything that Valve wants to do next after the Steam machine, that's all put into doubt. And it's kind of scary. I ain't gonna lie. And what are we getting in exchange? Like just more, like who wants that? No one asked for the AI stuff. Like I feel like it was just a joke that spiraled out of control, and now it's affecting all the hobbies that we love and enjoy.
Yeah, it really sucks. It's not going to get better anytime soon. So I wouldn't buy Xbox hardware right now knowing that they're shifting to PC. But if you've had your eyes on a pre-built or something that can run Windows, maybe switch to that because you probably have Game Pass Ultimate. You can take advantage of it there, and then you'll be ready when they announce the new version of Windows that comes with the Xbox game emulator. You'll just have a little bit of a no man's land in between where you can't play your Xbox games. But, could be worse.
I wonder if this will affect the Xbox Ally X. And already the complaints about the pricing were pretty vocal and loud, dominated the majority of the discourse around this thing. And you just got to wonder, like, where is it heading? And already they were talking about, the next Xbox console is going to be premium. It's going to be high end, all things that point to a higher price point. This just does not help anyone who's worried about this. And you know what? It's time for, Jim, and I know you're going to love this, it's time for the rise of cloud gaming.
They can't even do that. They got to build the PCs to stream from.
They're going to have to figure it out, like either with their existing servers. They have provided like some like noticeable boosts. I have tested out myself. I'm like, okay, like these improvements that they're throwing in, like the 1440p, the improved bit rate, more stable frame rate, higher frames. I like the direction that they're going in with that. Of course, it's locked behind the highest tier of Game Pass, and it's only available right now for like a handful of games. But if they can get that quality across the board and maybe do something like Nvidia's doing right now, where they offer like a top tier pass for if you want to game at like 4K, like an insane amount of frames per second, and then just bump down like a standard 1440p stable 1080 60 FPS for the other tiers. I feel like that's the way to go at this point because you really I feel like they need cloud gaming now more than ever. Like if there's going to be $800 Xboxes, $1,000 Xboxes, they got to provide a more affordable alternative. And right now, the obvious answer to that is cloud gaming in theory.
The real obvious answer is go buy a $400 PlayStation 5 and play your Xbox games there, which sucks. Or just build a PC and use Game Pass there. And buy them through Steam or something. I don't know.
It makes you wonder, like, the whole exclusive strategy. Because, like, if they were, just continuing this track that they're going on right now of bringing older games to PlayStation, you really start to question, like, what Jimmy is saying. Should I buy a $700 Xbox Series X or a $450 PlayStation 5 and play, like, Forza and Gears Reloaded on it and then any potential future Xbox games? But they're showing no signs of slowing down on the multi-platform front. And on top of that, we're hearing reports that the developers for Xbox Game Studios, they're like totally fucking psyched to bring their games over to PlayStation, make them multi-platform.
Shocker, right? I mean, their bonus structure is built on game sales. And when you've got a platform that pushes gaming subscription service, you're not selling a lot of games, right? Like I'm sure they have revenue metrics for streaming or whatever, but they probably see the data that people on streaming services tend to start their game, play one level and then dip out. So, I mean, like all the way around, you have more people willing to buy your game that's good.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions still about like what is successful for Xbox because they don't disclose game sales. When they're really cooking and they're selling a lot, they'll be like, "This is the most played Call of Duty ever," but they won't say sales. They'll be like,
They're not
"Yeah,
saying that this year.
more people play Call of Duty now than ever." They're not saying it for Black Ops 7, but they made a big deal out of it for Black Ops 6 and a ton of other games.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're like driving a ton of engagement.
Yeah.
It's very similar to the language that like me and Jim use for content creation. It's like, oh, we're getting a ton of engagement, lots of likes, lots of comments, lots of views. But when you're a game publisher, game studio, probably not the same metrics that you want to be using.
I don't think so. I think the classic tried and true copies sold is good. Engagement's important, right? Like you don't want people buying Halo Campaign Evolved and playing the first level and dipping, because then you just like that sucks, right? Like if we made videos that people watch 10 seconds of, that'd be demoralizing as fuck because you'd be putting all this time in recording, editing, because me and Ray do everything ourselves. We shoot, edit, post our videos by ourselves. Like that's a lot of time that you're spending to post something that people watch 10 seconds. So extrapolate that over like 5 years of work on a video game, and then you see someone download it and play the first level and bail. I'd be bummed out. I'd
and
be
then
like
post
depressed.
on Twitter that it fucking sucks and the people that
Yeah.
made this don't know how to do their jobs.
Post a picture of their fucking handheld that they spent $1,000 on, being like, look how it runs games. And it's like, yeah, but that's the first level, bro. Are you playing the game? Are you going to finish it? You bought it. Like, you should play the game. Like, I feel like sometimes we're two of the only people in this space that actually play games when I see how people talk about them. Like, it's crazy.
I know. Actually, I was playing Halo Infinite the other night. I was having a blast with my buddy Eldon. It was like I was in 2009 again, just match after match after match. But silver linings, again, like Jim was saying earlier, one of the other headlines that came out recently about Xbox is that they have like these new insane accountability margins that they have to hit in order to like justify their existence to Microsoft. And a lot of people were worried about like, oh, you know, what about these smaller studios like Keeper and Double Fine? Like, if that doesn't hit 30% accountability margins, are they just like going to be axed like Tango Gameworks or the Initiative? And a lot of these reports about like, oh, these developers are jazzed, they're hyped up for making their games multiplat has to do with it's easier to hit those goals 30% if they're going multi-platform. That makes me happy too. Like, developers have been through hell these past couple of years. Like, you go to your work at any of these studios, no matter where you are, and it's like an 80% chance that you're going to be fired by the end of the year. I was about to say, make their jobs easier, but they have more work on their hands trying to make more versions of their games. But if it guarantees that they have a job and can hit those margins.
Yeah, well, the whole pipeline's pretty optimized now because everyone's using Unreal Engine 5 so that they can move around studios easier. And also, I mean, it's a lot different this generation than last in the sense that these consoles are very PC-like in their architecture. So like they use different tool sets to build the games, but porting is a lot easier than like the 360 and the PS3, which were completely different, Yeah, like you see it with the Sony ports. They're hit or miss. Like, Horizon Forbidden West was good. Ragnarok and God of War 2018 were good, but then both Last of Us games were disasters. Like Spider-Man 2 is still messed up.
So I guess like Xbox has a leg up kind of when it comes to their ports because they're so familiar with PC. And I mean, they better be because they're going into this future where there's going to be like half console, half PC type things floating around. And they're trying to get more of their audience on just PC in general. Hopefully they just figure it out because I feel like fans are just getting back into the swing of like falling in love with games again. Like this year especially, there's been a lot of really awesome games. You look at the Game of the Year nominations, I really feel like any of them are worthy of winning that award. And so it's like we're living in an era where there's really good games. There's a lot of other bullshit happening that we could probably do without, but at its core, like there are still really awesome games to be played. People are rediscovering that for themselves, people, no matter what platform they're on. So I hope that they figure it out so they can keep, the high quality titles rolling, keep the good times rolling, and hopefully we're not paying too much for it. Anyways, guys, that's all the Xbox stuff we got to talk about today. Thanks so much for joining us for another emergency meeting of Xbox Ready. Make sure you check out my buddy Jimmy's channels, PS Ready, Deck Ready. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Nice.